Morning, everyone. Today's learning is dedicated to memory of Binyamin Akiva ben Shlomo, Leah Bas Faivel, Harav Yaakov Tzvi ben David Aryeh Sachs, Tupura Fegel Basur Baruch, Paul Casimir, Shalom ben Eli Li ben Bas Faivel, from Shoshana Bas Yaakov Shmuel, Caleb Bela Bas Henoch, Yom Yochel ben Moshe Eliezer Sar Malka Bas Binyamin Shlomo Yechiel ben Yeshua Levi, Avram Mordechai ben Moshe Katna, and the Yortzites for today: Hayden Bodner, Yehuda Melech ben Shimon, Leah Bas Elliot Fisher, Moshe ben Binyamin Lewis, Hindel Bas Mendel Yisrael Grant, Yeta Chaya Bas Avram Vishnik. We wish each of their respective families long life and only simchas. Well, friends, we're coming to the end of the second chapter of Ethics of the Fathers. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Woodside Park and beyond. And delighted to have so many joining with us this morning. Thank you for joining us last night. The feedback was phenomenal regarding our interview with the legendary Eli Beer. Isn't he the most incredible human being to achieve what he's achieved and to have to witness what he witnessed from a young age? Extraordinary strength of character. If you haven't seen it, you can play catch up on YouTube and Facebook. Well worth watching that interview, and the story he says at the end is just unbelievable. Right, back to today. So in the next statement, we're up to the chapter 2, verse number 19. Yutet. So it says as follows: Rebbe Elazar says, have a shocked lilmod Torah. A person has to immerse themselves, has to be shocked in learning of the Torah. In other words, it's like, I guess the best analogy would be, if you have a wire. Remember, they used to have a wire that went into the computer in the days gone by before wireless. You used to plug it in. If all the prongs were not properly in, then there wasn't the connection. You could have most of the wires in, but if there isn't all the wires in, if all those pins are not properly connected, then you won't feel that connection. You won't get any response. That's really the way it is with learning Torah, that you have to shut out everything around you and completely be present for that moment so that you can properly immerse yourself. After all, when we learn Torah, as we said, it's God speaking to us. So therefore, if we want to have a proper conversation, we have to be completely open and dedicated to hearing His word. The next statement is, "V'da Moshe Toshiv l'Apikuros." You should know what to answer a heretic. So a heretic is somebody who denies some of the basic tenets in Judaism. Why do we need to know? Well, firstly, we need to know in order, if you have those that are trying to proselytize and they're trying to lead astray the masses, we have to know what to answer, first and foremost for ourselves. But secondly, we also need to know what to answer for other people, so that there isn't this heresy that is spreading and people get the wrong idea and a skewed vision when it comes to their Judaism. So we have to know what Judaism has to say. Why we believe in what we believe. Do we know what we believe? Do we know the 13 principles of faith? Do we know what the Torah has to say about all types of matters? Right? Why wasn't the resurrection of the dead, the Messiah, why are they not explicit in the Torah itself? Right? The Torah has answers for everything, but we say nafoch kula bo. We're going to come to it later. Turn over the Torah, and everything is inside it. But you have to be prepared to go looking for it. So it's very, very important that we read up, so that we are able to be in an informed position. Forewarned is forearmed, as they say. Tova Singer, I think his name is, in the Rabbi Tuvia Singer in the States, has been somebody who, in terms of missionaries, has done extraordinary work in being able to deflect their challenges and having answers, as well as Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan in his books. Well worth reading if you are interested in this area. Okay, so we're meant to know the answer to when an Apikuros comes along and he says, you know what? Why don't you? I don't think that you have to keep. You don't have to do bris milah, or Shabbos isn't what it says in the Torah, or the Torah wasn't given at Sinai, and therefore it's up to It's man-made, and we can do what we want. We have to know what to answer. We have to know what the Torah really says. Otherwise, we'll be led astray. You have to know in front of who you are toiling. You know, if you know why you are doing something, right? If you know that, let's say you're working hard, but you know that at the end of the day, it's for your wife or your husband, and it's appreciated, then, with that awareness, then you are willing to toil, then you are willing to go to the nth degree. But if you say, I don't even know why I'm doing this, who am I doing this for? Then really, then you're not going to really properly be prepared to immerse yourself, because it's going to see a pointless, futile exercise. Next point. And you can, the person that you're working for, of course, we're talking about the ultimate employer, which is God Almighty. Everything we do counts, and therefore we will be rewarded in the right, after 120 we'll receive our just rewards for all the good deeds, all the mitzvot, all the good stuff that we've done, all the challenges that we've overcome. So therefore, when we are working, when we are facing challenges, if we know that it matters, that we matter, and that we are going to be judged and rewarded accordingly, that's not why we should do it, but that certainly at the back of our mind propels us forward when we face questions in our mind as to, why bother? Let me just get on and just enjoy and forget about everything, forget about the future, forget about, leading a meaningful, fulfilling life. That's point number 3. Next statement. Famous statement from Ethics of the Fathers, and this is the last Mishnah in the 2nd chapter, so we're going to go over time, but we're going to finish the Mishnah today. Who are you, Omer? Rabbi Tarfon, who said the previous Mishnah, said this one, Lo alecha melacha ligmor. And this is so, so important. Yesterday we spoke about self-esteem, right? Remember the problem which we had in Egypt? Remember Pithom and Ramses? Quicksand, they were told to build the pyramids. Day after day, they piled up the bricks, and it just sunk into the ground. And there are many, many stories. There's the famous story in the Second World War. I think he was being held in solitary confinement, a Jew, and there was a wheel. We always tell the story on Pesach for the Avodas B'Forech, the mindless work that the Egyptians gave. And he was turning this wheel for days, weeks, months, and years on end. But he knew that there was a granary on the other side, and he was producing, he was making, he was being productive. He was released from solitary confinement when the end of the liberation, and he said, listen, I'd like to see, the granary, the whole work, so I can see and I have an appreciation of what I achieved and accomplished during the last three and a half years. They opened the door and there was nothing there. Literally, you can see the wheel. He was just turning a wheel that was on the wall. He collapsed on the spot. He couldn't cope. To know that you're not achieving anything, to know that you don't count, that there's no point to doing anything. It's not going to make any difference. Or to know, as this Mishnah says, that in fact, there is no end to it. There is no end. Ever feel you're on a treadmill, that you're not actually getting anywhere, that as fast as you finish something, you finish one assignment, you finish one subject, one project, the next thing pops up, and you just feel exhausted. You burn out. It's called burnout in modern parlance. That is because we don't feel that we're getting anywhere. We just see that it's endless. So how are we meant to approach life? Lo alechem lachaligmor, says Rebbe Tarfon. A person should know that it's not up to us to finish the work, right? But on the other side, the flip side of that coin is you are not expected to acquit yourself of the responsibilities which are incumbent upon you. In other words, there's a delicate balance. Like we've spoken before about self-esteem and humility, this is another one of those balances. To know on the one hand that I'm not expected to do everything. I'm not expected to complete everything. I'm not going to be able to perfect myself to the nth degree in all areas of life so that I'm a perfect person. There never was anybody who was perfect that lived. But on the other hand, it's not for us to say, give up, I can't be anything. Lo ata ben chorin libata mina. You're not a free person. Or when we became free from slavery in Egypt, that liberation enabled us, facilitated us to become subservient, loyal subjects to the King of Kings, to God Almighty. And therefore we are blessed to have a mission, to have a task, to keep on going and growing day after day. And therefore, how do we keep going? I just see the desk every day. It piles up and up and up and up and up and up, and you can lose your mind. You can suffer mental health issues. You can literally, I can't cope. I can't cope. I'm exhausted mentally, psychologically, emotionally. The amount that's on our shoulders pressing down day after day. And the answer is the words of Rebbe Tarfon that we have to keep at the forefront of our minds, that every day counts, that every day we are not allowed to give up. We're not allowed to say that we've got nothing to do. Every day we are not Ben Chorin, we're not nobodies, we're somebodies, and we've got specific work, tasks, and missions in this world that we, each and every one of us, as being unique, are meant to contribute and meant to make changes in ourselves and in the world around us. Take Eli Beer, right? We had him last night. You can watch afterwards if you haven't seen it. This guy, from a young age, saw the loss of life. And instead of turning the other way and getting on with his life, which he could have done, he saw that as an opportunity. He saw a need, a pressing need. We're so quick in the business world, in the entrepreneurial world, to see opportunities, to see gaps in the market, to see a business opportunity, and to come up with a business plan. And so many during COVID have actually done that. Young people in particular, online businesses have taken off, gone through the roof. But in our own lives and in the lives of those around us, in terms of character development, which is what it's all about, becoming the real us, becoming more godly, we have to recognize we're not meant to become the finished product. We're not able to finish everything, but we're not allowed to acquit ourselves and to walk away and wash our hands. We have to be able to have the courage, the tenacity, the temerity to stand up, to do our very best, to give our all. That's all we can do. And if we give our all and God sees that we're trying, the rest we hand over to Him to help us to do the most that we possibly can in our lives. Please God, we should all have the strength, the koyach from the Almighty to keep going and growing and do our very best. With that, we continue now with Psalm 23. The Lord is, and by the way, Mazel Tov, we just finished the second chapter of Ethics of the Fathers. Well done, everyone. Another thing to tick off. Okay? We're not going to finish everything, as we just did in the Mishnah, but we're not giving up. We're going to keep going. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even as I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. Memorial prayer. Adon Olamim Zacho Es Nishmais Ben Yomen Akiva Ben Shlomo Leah Bas Bible Rabbi Yaakov Tzvi Ben David Aryeh Tzibara Feigel Bas Ruben Baruch Paul Kazmeh Shalom Ben Elili Ben Bas Bible from Moshe Shana Bas Yaakov Shmuel Kayla Ben Bas Henoch Yom Yochia Ben Moshe Eliezer Shamalka Bas Ben Yomen Shlomo Yechia Ben Yeshua Levi Avram Mordechai Ben Moshe Katna. The Yorzites for today. Hayden Bodner, Yehuda Melech ben Shimon, Leah Bas Elia Fisher, Moshe ben Yomin, Lewis Hindel Bas Bendel, Yisrael Grant, Yetechaya Bas, Avram Vishnik, Shalchu Lilaman Bekan, Aiden Taimanu Chasam, Lachim Valorachamim, Yasivay Vesisa Kanafab Yolamim, Veyesor Chesna Shwasamanai, Naklasam Yanuchu Bishamish Kavam, Venomar, Amen. Good morning to Colin, Richard, Peter, Andrea, Michelle, Michael, Estelle, Rachel, Martin, David, Caroline, and Harry, wishing everyone well. Refuah Shlema prayer. Misha Berach of Saint Romis of Yaakov Sharon, David Shlomo Yivarech Rebbe Zachaylim, Babu Shana Mispalim, Babu Ram, Bizchas HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yimali Racham Aleihim, Melach Malach Osam Yishlach Lem Fushlim Rishmaim L'Cholavim Basoch Shach Yisrael, Rafuas HaNefesh, Rafuas HaGav HaShavak Zmakriv Amar, Amen. And we wish well and wish Rafuas Shlema to the Rosen family. Nebuch, they've got COVID in the family, and therefore they're not allowed to have the bar mitzvah and shul this Shabbos. We're thinking of them, wishing you all well, and please God only simchas in the future. And to everyone here that are watching and joining us, thank you for joining us. We're now up to the 3rd chapter, and it's a fantastic. These are lifelong lessons and tools for us to be able to integrate and internalize in our lives. I hope you're enjoying it. As you can see, I'm animated. I'm getting a tremendous amount out of it. And please God, maybe tomorrow I'll share with you a fascinating video, psychological video that I saw about a psychotherapist that worked with someone from Iraq. Unbelievable what can be achieved. Have a great day. Look after yourselves. We'll see you.